OVN Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tashon Tyson in with the OVN Major News Package for today, Tuesday, 2nd April 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, NIA trying to add more water to the system in spite of dry spell, and public urge to cooperate with surveyors ahead of major road work. Regionally, same-sex marriage legalized in the Cayman Islands. Internationally, Nipsey Hussle murder suspect named as Vigil Stampede hurts 19. And in sports, Mini Olympics, CPS will be returning champions in Inter-Primary Championship. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, another national news in detail. As we continue to experience dry conditions, the Water Department through the Nevis Island Administration is trying to manage the situation. That's according to Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley.
At Hamilton, we are constructing a water treatment facility to reduce the iron and manganese to an acceptable limit set by the World Health Organization standards from a large yielding well at Hamilton, which has the potential capacity to add at least 200 plus impure gallons per minute into the water system. The plant will allow us to meet the Charlestown proper water demand and other surrounding areas. The water treatment plant will be funded largely by grant funding from the CARICOM Development Fund, CDF, with counterpart funding from the Nevis Island Administration.
He also mentioned plans that the Water Services Department has.
It is a plan of the Ministry of Water Services to install a 400,000 gallons water storage tank at Hamilton in the near future, funding permitting. The Ministry of Water Services has established a 10-day evaluation committee that is currently reviewing the bids from 4 companies to supply and install the water filtration equipment and a decision as to the successful bidder. The total grant funding available for this treatment plant from CDF is US $325,000. It is important to note that part of the package of the grant funding from CDF is approval to purchase 135,000 linear feet of drip irrigation equipment for the Department of Agriculture from available funds. That, we're told, will cost $33,792 US.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. In the meantime, residents here in Nevis are urged to practice water conservation methods. Residents in St. Kitts with structures 100 yards away from the center of the island's main road are encouraged to cooperate fully with representatives of the Public Works Department, PWD, and Surrey Paving and Aggregate Company Limited as they conduct a property condition survey. The survey, which is being executed in the Keon and Sadlers areas, is being conducted prior to the start of Phase 2 of the Island Main Road Rehabilitation Project. This will help to determine when and where the vibration feature of the heavy roller would be used. Letters have already been dispatched to persons in the area from the PWD that identify 4 specific officers from Surrey Paving and Aggregate Company Limited who are carrying out this survey. Mr. George Gilbert is an engineer at the Public Works Department.
We will be evaluating the structural condition of all of the properties along that corridor. Now what we'll be doing, we'll be looking for cracks in and out of your premises. And then we will actually make a note, prepare a database, and then at the end of the project, if a householder complains that they receive crack or excessive crack from the work, we will actually go and look at it and then make a determination.
Mr. Gilbert encouraged residents to pay particular attention to the surveyors as they are required to present valid picture identification before being allowed on the property.
I could recall in phase 1, we had an incident where a householder gave permission to come on her premises, go around her building, look at her building, but she said, no, you cannot go inside the building. But after the work was completed, she called and said that she experienced cracks on the inside. Now, how do you make a determination in that case? Makes it very difficult for us. So we are urging the public to cooperate with us and to allow us to look at the structural integrity of the building before and, if necessary, after the construction work.
According to Mr. Gilbert, where there is credible evidence of damage, persons will be entitled to some form of compensation. Distribution of checks for persons registered under the Poverty Alleviation Program, PAP, otherwise known as the Household Assistance Program, will be held later this week. The program seeks to assist households in earning less than 3,000 EC dollars with an additional $500. According to a release from the Social Services Department in the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, for the month of March 2019, the schedule for the distribution of checks is as follows. Friday, April 5th, 2019, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The venue will be the El Comido T. Willett Park Pavilion. Additionally, persons who have provided banking information before March 10th, 2019, are asked to check their respective accounts to verify that direct deposits were made. A valid government-issued ID must be presented when collecting checks. However, if anyone is collecting on behalf of others, the individual must present their ID and an ID for the person who they are collecting on behalf of. Earlier today, on Tuesday, checks were distributed between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. The St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards is tasked with the mandate of ensuring food and water safety in the Federation. This by actively testing and monitoring what is being consumed by citizens and residents. Head of the Microbiology Department at the Bureau of Standards, Avicia Sweeney, said that the Bureau takes food safety very seriously.
We have this monthly program which is partnered with Health, where we go out and test food outlets, make sure that the food is good, everything is up to standard, there is no food pathogens involved. Every quarterly, we do our island-wide testing of the water. So the water is tested every month, but every 2 months the Bureau take up the role to test to the in-depth analysis of the water that's coming out of every area around the island.
Sweeney cited the recent recall of romaine lettuce in the Federation, where there were concerns about the presence of E. coli, and said that the Bureau now has an advisory that mandates that any importation of romaine lettuce must be cleared by the Bureau before being sold to consumers. In police news, a man from the western side of St. Kitts has been charged by police for 3 counts of unlawful carnal knowledge and 1 count of indecent assault for incidents involving a minor. According to a release from the police force, he was charged on Saturday, March 30th. Unlawful carnal knowledge is defined as having forbidden sexual intercourse. Indecent assault is an offensive sexual act exclusive of rape committed against another person without consent. Investigations into the matter continue. 2018 Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, St. Kitts and Nevis's Shane Brown and Janelle Boone are among winners named by the United States Embassy to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean, and the OACS for its Caribbean Startup Summit competition. The competition offered entrepreneurs in the Eastern Caribbean a chance to attend 10 Habitats Caribbean Startup Summit in Barbados, which will be held on May 24th and 25th. According to the embassy's release, the Caribbean Startup Summit 10 Habitats flagship is an annual event. It brings together a global team of startup experts, founders, and entrepreneur resource providers to help empower startups in the region. Brown and Boone's travel will be fully funded by the U.S. Embassy. This includes the entrepreneurs' participation in the summit, including airfare and hotel accommodations and transportation in Barbados. Other countries include Antigua, Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines will also be represented. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family to swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. Out of the Cayman Islands. Same-sex marriage is now legal in the territory following the delivery of a landmark judgment. Love Wins was a brief but significant statement from Caymanian Chantal Day as she left the Grand Court on Friday, having successfully won a legal battle to rewrite Cayman's marriage laws. The decision, which was met by applause from around 80 people, follows a petition by Day and her partner. The couple brought a joint judicial review and constitutional challenge after government refused the application to marry in April last year. According to the Cayman Compass, Chief Justice Anthony Smelly ruled on Friday that the decision was discriminatory. He said preventing same-sex couples from accessing marriage and the suite of rights that come with it was a clear violation of freedoms guaranteed in Cayman's constitution, including the right to a private and family life. Chief Justice Smelly used his powers under the Constitution to rewrite the marriage law. He ordered that the clause in the law specifying that marriage is reserved by heterosexual couples be altered to state marriage means the union between two people as one another's spouses. The amendment comes into effect immediately and does not require ratification by the Legislative Assembly or the government. Guyana's President David Granger on Monday received and accepted the resignation of all APNU AFC coalition members of Parliament MPs who are holders of dual citizenship. The MPs are Guyanese American Minister of State Joseph Harman and Guyanese Britain's Rupert Wupnerine, Carl Greenwich, and Dominic Gaskin. Those members will not be returning to the National Assembly when it reconvenes on April 11th. The government said it is committed to upholding the Constitution of Guyana and, by virtue, the March 22, 2019 ruling of the Court of Appeal on the December 21, 2018 motion of no confidence, which was brought against the government. This now means that the Opposition People's Progressive Party's PPP dual citizenship members, Guyanese Canadian Gail Teixeira and Guyanese American Odinga Lumumba and Adrian Anamea, are the only dual nationals in this 65-seat House. The PPP has already said Texera and Lumumba have decided to give up their foreign member citizenship. At the same time, that party had said its 32 MPs would not be attending sittings of the National Assembly until the Caribbean Court of Justice decides on the validity of the no confidence motion and related cases. The decision by the government ministers to resign came amidst consistent pummeling by opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo that government was two-faced in honoring the decisions of the Guyana High Court and Guyana Court of Appeal. Out of the Bahamas. The workday at the Grand Bahama shipyard was cut short yesterday following what is being described as a freak accident on the property. Superintendent Walter Henderson explained that during police investigations, they discovered that one of the cranes being used to conduct repairs on the Oasis of the Seas cruise ship collapsed. According to Superintendent Henderson, all the wounded were taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital. However, at a last report, most had been released. Investigations are ongoing into what led to the accident. A statement issued by Royal Caribbean Cruises said that, as always, the safety and security of their people remain their top priority at Royal Caribbean, and they are actively monitoring the situation. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown said it was welcomed news that the staff of the cash-strapped regional airline Liat have agreed to a less than 10% salary cut. Over the weekend, the union representing Liat's pilots, the Leeward Islands Airline Pilots Association, LIALPA, agreed to work for a reduced salary, and this was communicated to the shareholders. Prior to that announcement, the Barbadian news publication Barbados Today reported that the regional airline could collapse if the trade unions did not come to an agreement with Liat and management on a pay cut before March 31st, the end of the Barbadian financial year. Speaking on his radio station on the weekend, Prime Minister Brown said the failure of the airline was something that Antigua and Barbuda could not afford. The restructuring proposal for Liat includes a minimum revenue guaranteed MRG, whereby unprofitable flight routes would be cut unless governments of those destinations were prepared to subsidize any shortfalls. Following the LIALPA announcement, Brown is of the view that Liat is in a better position than it was in recent past. And finally, the Haitian government recognized the Norwich-based non-profit organization this month for substantially impacting the HIV crisis in Haiti. Haitian Health Foundation, one of just 3 organizations recognized, has brought healthcare, education, and sustainable development to the people of Haiti since 1985. Marilyn Loughnane, its executive director, said she and her colleagues are especially proud of that award because hundreds, if not thousands, of charities and organizations operate in Haiti. The foundation's main clinic in the city of Jérémie, about 180 miles from capital city Port-au-Prince, but it recently opened a second clinic in Dayer, 14 miles south of Jérémie. The non-profit employs about 200 people, many of whom are Haitians, and serves about 225,000 people in more than 100 rural mountain communities, Loughnane said. That's it for Original Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back. Now the international news in detail. Police have named the suspect in the murder of Los Angeles rapper Nipsey Hussle hours after a stampede at a vigil injured at least 19 people. Authorities say Eric Holder is the man wanted in connection with the shooting on Sunday, which was ruled a homicide. Nipsey Hussle was shot dead outside his clothing store on Sunday. 2 other people were wounded. Most people suffered trample injuries at Monday's vigil, a fire official said, as crowds tried to rush away. 2 are critically hurt and 2 seriously, with the rest suffering non-life-threatening injuries. One of those critically injured suffered penetrating traumatic injury with cause unknown. Footage from the scene shows mourners suddenly breaking and running from the scene. It is unclear what triggered the incident. The successes of Drake, BTS, and Ariana Grande have helped the music industry earn its biggest revenues in a decade. The music market is now worth $19 billion, says the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry, IFPI, which represents the global music industry. An explosion in streaming subscriptions has essentially saved the industry, which was in freefall for a decade. In the space of 10 years, streaming revenues have grown from $40 million to almost $9 billion. The smartphone messaging service WhatsApp has set up a hotline for users in India as part of efforts to combat fake news. India is preparing for a month-long general election, which starts next week. The BBC's Electra Naismith reports.
Mobile internet access has exploded in India in recent years. It's WhatsApp's biggest market. But fake news is a major challenge. The Facebook-owned company has already faced criticism after rumours spread on the app triggered a series of mob lynchings. But even after tweaks, hoaxes are said to number hundreds each day. The upcoming election will prove a big challenge as political parties use the app to message tens of thousands of WhatsApp groups they've been able to create.
The party of Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is formally contesting the results of Sunday's local elections in every district of the country's biggest city, Istanbul. It lost control of several key areas in the polls, including the capital, Ankara. From Turkey, the BBC's Mart Lowin reports.
President Erdogan, it seems, isn't quite ready to let go of his own backyard, his AK party officially contesting results in the city where he was born and was once mayor. The election board said the opposition CHP candidate won Istanbul by around 25,000 votes. But the governing party has complained of irregularities and will challenge them in every district. Victory posters for the government have gone up on billboards in Istanbul, which the opposition says is an attempt to impose its position and steal the result. Losing major cities is a significant blow to the president, breaking his image of invincibility.
And finally, a second woman has accused former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden of inappropriate touching as the leading Democrat molds a White House bid. Amy Lapos said Mr. Biden had touched her face with both hands and rubbed noses with her a decade ago. The allegation comes after another woman, Lucy Flores, said Mr. Biden kissed her on the back of her hand at a campaign event. Mr. Biden has said he did not believe he has ever acted inappropriately. The former Delaware senator, who served as Barack Obama's vice president in 2009 to 2017, is seen as a possible frontrunner in the race for the Democratic presidential nomination. Some leading Democrats have publicly supported Ms. Flores, while House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the allegations should not rule out a 2020 run. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Need a car but don't quite have the deposit? You don't need a deposit with Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive.
I've been waiting for this
Choose your Suzuki vehicle, sign up, and drive out. Get a brand new vehicle with zero deposit, 5 years warranty, 1 year servicing, special finance and insurance, free flat screen TV with 3 months Flow TV package, free undercoating, free car care bundle, and so much more. Come in, sign up, drive out. Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In local sports.
We're the returning champions, and I mean, this year we gone clear, no tie this year. We have worked hard, we have prepared well, and we are determined. We're going to be victorious, 100%. We're taking it clean.
That's Latoya Bailey, member of the Charleston Primary School Sports Committee. The VON Newsline held interviews with a few schools in light of the upcoming 27th Gulf Insurance Interprimary Championship, alias Mini Olympics. Meantime, the Joycelyn Libet Primary had these words for the other competitors.
What happened last year, that is in the past. Here at the school, our children are always considered to be winners. And so as they go out to compete tomorrow, we are expecting them to do their very best. We are expecting them to exemplify good sportsmanship, and most of all, we are expecting them to have fun. And so while we are not always on top, we are always striving for excellence. Our motto says aspiring for the highest, and that is what we do in every area that we can.
JLPS Principal Barbara Hendrickson. In related news, head coach at the St. Thomas's Primary School, Mr. Emmanuel Richards, said the STPS is getting ready for the event.
We are just getting ready for, the action in 2017, 16, 17. We were the champions, and I'm proud to say that we closed down the ET with it back in 2017. We went to the Mondo track last year, but being a champion, you got to stay within the waiting. We came third, but nevertheless. But this year, we're coming back, and we're going to do our best.
Mr. Emmanuel Richards. Elsewhere, the Ivor Walters Primary anticipates that
this year we are hoping that we are going to do extremely well. I don't anticipate that we'll drop far this year. We'll go far to the top. And so we all geared up, we all prepared mentally, physically, and we're going to be there. So we all in all.
IWPS Principal Mrs. Janice Whittaker Richards. The event is slated for Wednesday, April 3rd at the Mondo Track in Long Point. Other schools that will be participating are the St. James's Primary, Maud Cross Preparatory, Elizabeth Pemberton Primary, VO Jane Primary, and for the first time, Nevis Academy will be competing as a single entity. The proceedings will be carried live here on Fun Radio. And finally, in tennis. The Virgin Islands Tennis Association, VITA, will participate in the 2019 Davis Cup Zone Group 3 competition to be held in Costa Rica from June 17th to 22nd. Teams expected to participate are the Bahamas, Honduras, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Cuba, Panama, Antigua and Barbuda, Bermuda, Trinidad and Tobago, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Players wanting to be considered for the USVI team need to send a copy of their passport and a brief resume of their current playing status, including current training and competition events. If a tryout is necessary to select a team, it will be held either the weekend of May 10th to 12th or May 17th to 19th. Players are to indicate which weekend they prefer or if either would be acceptable. That's it for sports. The General Weather Report is next. Welcome back, and now the look over the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with a 20% or slight chance of showers. Winds are east at 19 to 30 kilometers per hour or 10 to 16 knots. Seas are not exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:04 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Tuesday, 2nd April 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, NIA trying to add more water to the system in spite of dry spell. And public urged to cooperate with surveyors ahead of major road work. Regionally, same-sex marriage legalized in the Cayman Islands. Internationally, Nipsey Hussle murder suspect named as Vigil Stampede hurts 19. And in sports, Mini Olympics, CPS will be returning champions in Interprimary Championship. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.
VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the Powerhouse.
6:31 in the Eastern Caribbean. Good evening to one and all out there in Radio Land. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd day of April, 2019. I am Melissa Martin. I'll be keeping you company this evening.
Talk of many things, shipping shoes and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. Life are the greatest gift given to humanity. Surround yourself with a lot of positive energy. You can't buy it even if you have bully for money. And that's why we spread love in the community. You could have be a small man or a celebrity. You could have lived uptown or the inner city. We need a world full of peace and serenity. Sing, come sing out for everybody.
The time has come, as Shaggy said, to talk of many things. Of ships and shoes and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. The planet's turned in retrograde, the moon seems to have fled. The world is spinning upside down and landed on its head. Just one lifetime, and there's only one.
And there is only one.
Yes, there's only one.
So there is only one.
Just one life to live.
One life to live, yeah.
Assuming that we'll make it, with no choice but to take it. I'm with you, the warrior said. We'll dress for heavy weather. Whatever's on the road ahead, we're in this now together. We thought we'd make a run for it, not knowing where we're headed. We packed the car with both our bags and filled her up unleaded. Just one lifetime.
One lifetime.
And there's only one.
And there is only one.
Yes, there's only one.
And there is only one.
Just one life to live.
One life to live, yeah.
Assuming that we'll make it, with no choice but to take it.
One make we take a page out of the book of life. Let go negativity and do what's right. We no longer need to fuss or fight. Unite the world and show them what's right. This generation has set a new trend. Replace the word enemy with friends. Leaders of the world, these rules can't bend. These are the message we are sent to them.
The time had come, a reckoning. We all knew it was coming. We headed north on empty roads, the engine gently humming.
Yeah,
the warrior smoked a cigarette. He claimed it was his last. No signs of life, no gas, no food, and all the empty towns we passed. So all we have is me and you. It has to be enough. I've got your back and you got mine. If they're going, it gets rough. Just one lifetime.
One life to live young.
And there's only one.
And there is only one.
Yes, there's only one.
And there is only one.
Just one life to live.
One life to live.
we'll make it, with no choice but to take it. The time has come, the warrior said, to talk of many things, of ships and shoes and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings.
The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority's main office will be relocating to its new location in Ramsbury effective Monday, April 1st. Their new location will be at the Adams Building next to Caribbean Smiles Dental Clinic. Please be guided accordingly.
In need of the latest electronics or need electronic repairs? Then look no further, because Smart Electronics is your one-stop shop for all electronic items. Located on Port Zante, opposite the food court, they have unlocked cell phones, tablets, laptops, computers, TVs, cameras, Fire Stick, Android boxes, Bluetooth speakers, and so much more. You really don't have to go to St. Martin anymore, because everything is under one roof in this all-you-need electronics store. You can contact them today at 466-4271. It's Smart Electronics, your one-stop shop for all your electronic wants and needs.
Travel distances away, giving you one thing that brings change. You're sure to rock when I play. Reggae is my name. I wanna know, are you the one I'm waiting on? Over many mountains, and stages, teaching the people since ages, bringing joy into desolate places, to energize so you never get wasted. I'd like to know, are you the one I'm waiting on? Travel every ocean, redemption songs, yes. Musical healing keeps working on you, comforting people from here to Peru. From the wave of the drum and the bass comes sounds to liberate. Are you the one? The one I'm waiting on. Travel over mountains, 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 mountains.
Vance W. Amway International Airport has been growing in service to all travelers. With regular flights to and from Puerto Rico, St. Martin, and Antigua, in addition to other islands, it is a viable and convenient option for residents and visitors of Nevis traveling anywhere. Enjoy the convenience, avoid the hassle, support Nevis. use the Vance W. Amory International Airport.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tilly Walwyn, a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Roll on, roll on. Yeah.